What would it feel like if you knew inside of you that no matter what happened on the outside, that you would always feel okay? That's what I'm going to be talking about today. We as human beings, and me included, we can get so caught up in our head, but also so caught up in our body, so caught up in the past, so caught up in thinking about the future, so caught up in what's happening in the world, so caught up with our friends, with our peers, with our boss, with our clients, with absolutely everything, with our children, with the neighbor, with what's happening in our own relationships. So there is so much that we, as a whole human being, a real person, we can soak up literally everything around you. So if you're walking around and you're already overwhelmed with all of that, how do you think you're going to feel? Of course, stressed, disconnected, and like you can't trust yourself. I mean, how can you? Because you're receiving conflicting messages from everyone around you, from everything around you, and that is making you feel frustrated, confused. You're not even able to sit down for 5 minutes to breathe, to actually pay attention to what you're actually feeling, to what you're thinking, to what even your view and opinion is on something, because everything that is being fed into you from the outside world, either through your head, your body, and just everything in general. And what that does is that if you're like a sponge, we all are like sponges. So, a sponge, it has lots of holes inside it. And once a sponge, it goes in water, it gets really filled up with a lot of water. And then it gets really bulky and fat. And so I want you to imagine yourself as that sponge. But instead of being filled with water, because that's not what's happening here, you're being filled with so much noise, chaos, different people's thoughts, everything that happened in the past that you're still thinking about today, everything that you want to happen in the future, and then you're trying to live your life in the present reality, and there's no peace. It's like you're that stressed ball with, you have all your holes in that sponge. It's all filled up with chaos, with stress, with other people's thoughts, with your past history, with what happened with the neighbor, with what's happening right now in the news, with what's happening in your relationships, with what's happening at work. If you are like that, first of all, I want to say that there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. Where you are, this is the perfect opportunity to detangle and to let go of all these things that are draining up your energy, and really take note of how you want to feel. Because most of the time, everyone that is walking around, they are disconnected from their truth. They're disconnected from what they truly feel. They're stressed out. It's because of all these reasons I've just mentioned. So one of the ways, which may seem so simple and yet the most difficult for you today, that you can apply right now, is to actually take a moment for yourself. To actually sit down. If you like walking and you haven't walked at all, do that. But actually take a moment for yourself either just to not do anything or just to do something that makes you feel connected, to make you feel at peace, to make you feel joyful. Because we all have to start somewhere. And that is really the foundation of where you need to start. Because what happens is that if you're really like that, so much sponge, your energy is drained of your basically your entire life because of the past, you're thinking of the future, of your relationships, of your business. That's a lot for your body and your nervous system to take, but also your mind, because your mind is looping. It's constantly thinking about this and that. It's worrying about something. And if you're in that state, you see a lot of people are in that state already all the time, and then they want to create a different reality. So say if you're a business owner and you want to make more money, so if you don't go back to the foundation, which is being connected to yourself, feeling at peace internally, feeling like you can trust yourself, feeling that your voice, you know it and you hear it. If you don't go back to that, what you'll end up doing is eventually will get into a burnout. You will think, oh, I need to make more money in my business. But then you already still have this, you're still like this sponge. You're only going to add more pressure, more expectation, more stress onto it without really getting down to the root. The root and the foundation is you. So everything starts at the foundation. If you do not look at your foundation, if you do not look at the root and what's happening inside those roots, you have to dig deep and go underneath. If you don't do that, you'll always be adding more and more and more onto your body, onto your nervous system, onto your head, and you're going to explode. That's why sometimes you have arguments with people, you get frustrated, you get annoyed, you feel resentment, you feel guilty, all those emotions. But then instead of actually feeling the emotions, simply feeling, you want to get rid of them. And what tends to happen is that you end up suppressing them. And so that only adds up more onto this sponge, which is already like this. And the more that you add and the more that you add, eventually your body will start getting ill. More consequently, everything is just going to start breaking down, because honestly, it's just too much. And I know a lot of you that are watching this, probably this has happened to you many times. Probably it's happened to you once. And you took some time out, and then you somehow ended up back on the same path, but doing something else. Or maybe you quit your job to follow and pursue your business, but actually you ended up back in the same spin, where the stress is still there, where you still feel expectation, where actually you still are that sponge that is filled with so much that you haven't actually given it to yourself to go to the foundation, to the source, and coming back to you. So this is for you especially. This is for you if you are carrying the entire world on your back, if you're carrying other people's problems, if you're constantly looking at the news, if you're thinking all the time, if you're worrying, if you're thinking about the past, if you're thinking you're not good enough, if you're thinking what you're going to do in the future, this is for you. You need to go back to basics. And basics is the hardest part, because that means you're completely putting that to the side when already you're very overloaded. And that's why I invite you to find some time for yourself where you can just be there for yourself. You don't have to do something, to move yourself forward or to, push yourself in a certain way, you really need time to just be. If you can do that, even just once a week, it's gonna bring that overload right down. But if you do that once a day, that's really gonna help you in a huge way, because your nervous system is going to start to lower the pressure of so much intensity in your life, and your mind is going to start to quiet. And sometimes in those moments, it can feel even more scarier, because now you meet yourself, you start to actually listen to what's going on inside of you. But this is the beginning, and here there is always so much more. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, like it, subscribe, and leave a comment.